Video number 84 plus. The Forgotten Memory. Hello. Maybe you are on vacation, determined to unwind a bit to recharge your batteries. And what if I suggested instead that you use this period, well suited for introspection, to improve your capabilities and discover your hidden talents? Is there a field of human activity in which your mind absorbs new data like a sponge and immediately integrates them into your system, even reorganizing the surrounding, practically without any conscious effort on your part? Have you seen some hidden connections burst into your consciousness simply by integrating a new piece of seemingly innocuous data? Does this sometimes cause a ha-ha when new acquisitions shed light on old ones in an unexpected way? I'm sure that it is the case, for at least one area, for each of you. But have you realized that your true cognitive identity might be hidden behind this facility that you have always taken for granted? It is from this fundamental point that we shall start today. This may be an intellectual, artistic, athletic field, or any activity requiring a particular dexterity related to any of your five senses. The idea is that your brain processes certain types of information at an incredible speed, and that the success of your life could be linked to the awareness of this particularity. Please note that I never said there is only one area for each person where this special functioning is at work. In the early 90s, I happened to come across the first version of Howard Gardner's so-called multiple intelligences theory, and I found his classification very relevant. What struck me right away was that each of the six intelligences, verbal, spatial, kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, and intrapersonal, could be linked to a particular type of memory: auditory for verbal and musical, visual for spatial, muscular for kinesthetic, evocative for intrapersonal, and semantic for interpersonal. I was quite interested by the fact that Gardner had not isolated a creative intelligence, thus separating drawing and music according to the forms of memory, visual or auditory, involved in artistic creation. It was quite compatible for me, for example, with the fact that great illustrators are generally not very talkative, unlike great musicians. But curiously, no particular form of memory seemed to correspond to logical mathematical intelligence. And this remark led me very far. It was also by chance that some time later, I read a short article in a science popularization journal indicating that the type of memorization of positions by great chess players seemed to follow, according to player interviews, a sort of hierarchy depending on the level, confirming the results of an old study by Alfred Binet, from concrete and associated with a visual representation for the more modest. It evolved toward a purely abstract and functional representation of the type. On such a square there is an operator that belongs to my opponent or to myself and can perform this or that movement without any evocation of shape or color. That is to say, an evolution from the level of a sensoromotor form to a purely hypothetical deductive form, according to Jean Piaget's classification. A little later, and this is the third coincidence, I came across the French translation of von Neumann's compact and extremely concentrated book, The Computer and the Brain. I only retained a few specific points, namely that von Neumann understood the true nature of nerve impulses before anybody, that he questioned the remarkable efficiency of the eye-brain coupling, and that he considered memory to be entirely decentralized. For him, it was the graph of synapses, thus the shape of the brain, that constituted memory, beyond any cognitive or mnemonic specialization. The conjunction of these three coincidences brought forth a in my brain, always in search for explanations. So simple that it's somehow blinding. To tell the whole truth, the book by John von Neumann alluded to the probable existence of an internal language of the brain, similar to computer languages, and with no relation to specific human languages. And this hypothesis was taken up by the logician Jean-Louis Krivine, which was also the subject of an article in the review Science and Life. What about my In the space of a fraction of a second, I connected the article on chess players with what I had read about prodigy calculators and ultra-fast readers, mentioning the existence of mental processes that are difficult to describe because they are too fast to appear at the conscious level. And I realized that on a deeper level, our brain could very well function, as von Neumann had guessed, like a computer. The next step was to conjecture that in any field of human activity, individuals considered as experts by all their peers simply process information directly in machine language instead of going through combinations of sensory representations that slowed down information processing. And everything would then rely on the existence of a translation software that would have been set up by compiling data in a particular sector. Moreover, the type of memory involved would be the forgotten memory in the classification of memory experts, the memory of logical mathematical intelligence, which I would call functional memory. It is this memory that would be used without their knowledge by chess champions, calculators, and prodigious readers, but perhaps also, in reality, by sharpshooters and gymnastics champions, without forgetting Rubik's Cube experts. The translation software would perform a kind of compression, retaining only what is relevant, and which subsequently allows for processing at the speed of light. If this is true, we may have a partial answer to the nagging question that each of us has been asking since our youngest age. What am I doing in this mess? The answer would be as follows. I was born to serve others by exploiting a unique potential that my personal history and the whims of existence have made me develop. The condition of my happiness is the discovery and realization of this potential. As long as I remain unaware of my true cognitive nature, I will continue to fight over trifles and envy those who have succeeded in ways that are unexplainable to me. Maybe it would be better to think, rather than getting myself into activities where I am incompetent, that these people have understood something that it is up to me to understand in turn. Having been unable, in a video, to do anything else than outline a personal development strategy that could reveal your hidden skills to yourself, I leave you to your reflections, which I hope will be constructive.